Emergency procurements and contracts are administered through the district and central procurement offices. Procurement provides uniform processes for emergency contracting of transportation repairs and restoration, professional services, commodities, and contractual services. District and central office procurement's role is to support the department with critical purchasing needs related to emergencies and natural disasters. Steps for an emergency procurement. A state of emergency is declared by the governor via an executive order that is issued and numbered. The number is important and should be recorded on emergency contracts and other necessary paperwork for tracking purposes. The Secretary of Transportation issues an emergency order pursuant to the governor's executive order. If the emergency order suspends law prescribing procedures applicable to procurement activities, the district or central office may proceed with emergency purchases in accordance with procedure number 375-040-130, emergency procurement during governor-declared emergencies. If procurement law is not explicitly suspended in writing, all statutory, rule, and procedural requirements govern. C. Competitive quotes/proposals should be acquired whenever practical. If Federal Highway Administration, FHWA, or Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, reimbursement will be requested, at least 3 quotes/proposals should be considered, but in no way hinder or delay necessary action in coping with the emergency.
All purchase orders, contracts, and task work orders must be executed prior to the emergency order expiring. Per the OOC Natural Disaster Emergency Handbook, the policy is to obtain funds approval by the next business day of authorizing the work to be performed, or by the next business day of execution of the contract, whichever occurs first. Under no circumstances should the encumbrance process hold up executing an agreement that is a safety hazard or meets a critical need to the traveling public.
Central Office Procurement will coordinate with the District Procurement Office's advertisement contacts if professional services and design build advertisements will be impacted by weather or other conditions. Consultants, contractors, vendors should be reminded that all activities performed before the execution date of a contract or task work order are at risk of not being reimbursed. Invoices for activities that predate the execution date of the contract or task work order will not be approved or paid.
All purchase orders and H contracts shall reference the governor's executive order number. The department may formally procure and execute term contracts for equipment and services that could be utilized before, during, and after an emergency event to support the department in an emergency situation. These pre-event contracts must be acquired in accordance with normal law, rule, and procedure. Example of types of pre-event contracts include emergency cut and toss, emergency traffic signal repair, and emergency debris removal operations. For more information, consult the Emergency Management SharePoint site. All pre-event contract activations, X and Z contracts, and H contracts must be routed through Chief Engineer for approval, copying the Emergency Coordination Officer prior to activating. Please include district, contract number, contract type, pre-event or H contract, a short description, vendor name, and an estimated dollar amount when requesting activation. The department may use the DMS approved alternate contract source, NASPO Fuel Card Services, Emergency Fuel Plan Form. This allows for the purchase of petrol and diesel fuel and immediate use non-fuel commodities or services for fleet vehicles owned by state agencies. Use My Florida Marketplace to create your purchase requisition or purchase order against the approved ACS. The Emergency H Contract Form number 375-04061 has been updated to include federal forms. The forms that have been incorporated are listed here. Be sure to use the latest form from the Forms and Procedures library. It is important to remember to consult your district or central office procurement when preparing emergency contracts. Information for emergency contracts is available on the emergency checklist that can be found at this link or on the procurement intranet site. Before completing an emergency contract, be sure to perform a vendor eligibility check to ensure that vendor is eligible to do business with FDOT or receive federal reimbursement.
Here are some frequently asked questions. Question 1. Can I use an existing C contract in lieu of drafting an H contract for professional services? Response. You cannot use a C contract to complete emergency work. The pertinent terms and conditions will not be in the contract. In order to ensure federal reimbursement and proper cost accounting, write an H contract. Question 2. Can an emergency contract be invoiced through Consultant Invoice Transmittal System, or CITS? Response. CITS and emergency contracts are not compatible due to limitations in object codes eligible for CITS and the need to make adjustments to project numbers. Question 3. What is the order of precedence for deploying contracts? Response. Deploy pre-event contracts before H contracts. More detail is available in the emergency checklist, which can be located on the resources page.
There are additional resources available on the resources page. This includes the Emergency Procurement Repository, Emergency Procurement during Governor-declared emergencies procedure, Emergency H contract, and the checklist for emergency contracts. To ensure federal reimbursement, remember to comply with federal procurement requirements. As you'll see here, there's a couple of acronyms. CPC is cost plus percentage of cost contracts, and T&M is time and materials contract. A list of district procurement managers by district are available on this slide. Please reach out to Carla Perry, Angela Mattio, or Paul Baker with any questions.